Tim Albright with AVNation at InfoComm 2024 in the Utelogy booth. Jonathan McNall, welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Good to see you.
Good to see you, dude. I have been familiar with Utelogy for almost 10 years now.
Sure.
And I've kind of watched you guys evolve. One of the things that you guys are seeing that I want to talk about is how the C-suite now is looking at remote management and kind of the enterprise remote management and the need for something like Utelogy when it comes to giving customers, the actual end users, the users of these devices, a good customer experience. How does that happen with the Utelogy environment?
I think, well, a couple of things it's really important. I think over the last 4 or 5 years, people have been looking at Utelogy. They understand that it's something that they need. They've got to understand how it fits into their organization, how it fits into their workflows, what they're going to get with the data that they're having. And I think this has been really accelerated post-COVID when people are now looking to get their staff back to the office and recognize that the experience they have in the office is a little less good, to say the very least, than they're having at home. So at C-level, people are pushing down to say, we can't force people to come back to the office if they don't have that meeting equity when they're in our meeting rooms here. So that's one of the really key aspects for us is user experience. And I think in the AV industry, an industry that's been dominated by technology, by technical people with little regard for the end user experience, we're now seeing it's absolutely paramount. And it's the language that some of our more established managed service providers talk now. It is about that whole user experience, total experience, ensuring that when staff come back, they have that great environment to work in, and that's being pushed down from the top.
So really quickly, because I want to get this apart, how does a remote management and control software piece, how does it help giving a good customer experience?
Okay, the very simple answer to that is about visibility. Okay. Without a good understanding of what your equipment's doing, how it is, where it is, what state is it on, is it off, is it dead, is it alive, you cannot guarantee to give everybody, anybody a good user experience. So that's the absolute kind of paramount importance. And people, alarmingly, huge organizations have no visibility of these rooms. Their asset management is kind of lamentable, to be honest. And some of the equipment isn't in the network, so you can't see it. So you have absolutely no chance of delivering a great user experience. We talk about service management in the AV world and in the enterprise as being completely reactive. We call it hero-based. Okay. The first time there's a problem is when you're about to have that big meeting in that big boardroom talking to your big client and the stuff doesn't work. Yeah. You get on the phone, you call someone, and they run really quickly and hopefully fix it before everybody in the room becomes too disenchanted. But that's the reality, and I think everybody recognizes that as a thing. So our whole premise is that we turn that reactive service management into something that's proactive. Okay. We're unique as a management and monitoring tool that we also have control in our armory, and we're able to run automated tests so we can emulate that user environment, that meeting environment, when the room isn't being used, typically in the middle of the night, early in the morning, create a report, and then importantly triage those problems remotely using our tech tools and all of that stuff as well. So we're taking the human element out of it, we're bringing automation to it, so it's driving cost out of that and enhancing that experience as well.
You said the word data and analytics a couple different times here. Dive into that for a second, because one of the things about data is we all have a lot of it, sure. Right? Sometimes we have too much, we don't know what to do with it. It's over here and it's just sitting there gathering.
Yes.
What can Utelogy do, and how do they help the IT manager parse through that data and use it?
Sure, and again, really important, because I think people start talking to us about the break-fix cycle. Is it on, is it off, is it dead, is it alive? And as we unpack the story, and as people implement the platform, they realize there's so much more they can do with that data. We call it actionable intelligence. Okay. The first part of it is, it's gone red, let's find out what the problem is. But then we can look into the historical data and identify Over time, what the problems have been is how's the network performing, and then you go into other aspects of it. I mean, it may be equipment utilization, which is important when you're trying to determine what your next generation of meeting spaces needs to look like. We can manage and deliver information on room occupancy, which actually data that may be really important to your facilities people. Is that room the right size?
Well, also it's also important when you are developing and creating your next gen meeting spaces, because we may not be utilizing the entire area.
Absolutely, and is the equipment used?
Yeah.
And are you using the wireless presentation device when you're logging into a Teams or a Zoom call, and you can share documents in that way? So all of that stuff is really important. Performance from one aspect, but and we're seeing a lot of the manufacturers now are including different elements. So people counting is one of them. Air quality is another. When that first came out, people were looking a little bit skeptically, what's that all about? And then building workflows around that data. If a room breaks, being able to then link that alert into other elements of that modern workplace. So maybe your room booking system, so you can then direct people from the room that's broken to a new room, and that becomes automated with some predetermined workflows. So you're enhancing that total experience, and it's not just about the technology, it's about the environment as well.
So really quickly, because you hit a couple of, especially the automation part, that part right there where a room is broken, and then so we're going to cancel that meeting and move it over here and let everybody know. How big of a lift is that? Like because I've heard the term, simplicity is complicated, right? To make something simple like that on it is incredibly complicated on the back end. Yeah. What does the roll-up look like? What does something like that look like for an IT manager? Are we talking weeks, months, years to get something like that?
It's a really good question, and we've architected our system in such a way that you don't need bespoke programming. We create drivers for all of the manufacturer devices, and something just to focus on there a little bit is that we're great friends with all of the major manufacturers now. They are committed to our Utelogy program, basically which means that they have an API that delivers rich data. So by creating these drivers, and everything in our system is configuration, there's no programming. So once we've gone through the infosec, which you need to do for any large organization, the rollout is incredibly quick. It can all be done offline, and we've rolled out literally hundreds of rooms, 500 rooms in 30 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And that is a significant difference because and not only at the point of initial deployment, but if any changes are made during the life cycle, you change one monitor for another, you put in a new device, you can make wholesale changes in seconds. And the focus here is this is enterprise IT in an AV world. So being able to roll out and implement globally, and what we've seen is that when people take our platform, they are taking it globally, and a number of our customers have multiple thousands of meeting rooms. If you did that in the old paradigm with programming and having to reprogram, it just wouldn't work. Yeah. So that scalability thing is something that's really, really important to us, and has really been a significant benefit as we've kind of attacked the enterprise.
All right, Jonathan, somebody must have found out more about Utelogy. How do they do that?
You can come over to the booth. We're booth number C6609. You can go onto our website, and you can see us all on our website and make contact directly. But please come over and see us.
All right, very good. Jonathan Magnol from Utelogy. For us, for AVNation, go by our website, AVNation.tv. That's AVNation.tv. Find more videos from the show floor of InfoComm 2024. All that and more at AVNation.tv. That's AVNation.tv.